Hi students, we are working on lesson 21, session 2 today. We're still working on adding mixed numbers, but we're going to take one step further today. Go ahead and turn to page 445 and get your pencil so you're ready to start with me. All right, markers come in boxes of 8. For an art project, one group of students uses 1 5/8 boxes of markers, and another group uses 1 6/8 boxes. How many boxes of markers do the two groups use all together? Okay, so all together tells us that this is going to be an addition problem, okay? So first we're going to draw a picture here. So we have 1 5/8. So here's my 1. And then I'm going to have another circle, and I'm going to do my best to divide it into eighths. Okay, and now I'm going to shade 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 1 whole 5/8. And then we're adding that to 1 and 6/8. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 and 6/8. Can't write today. Okay, so first I'm going to take these whole numbers and I'm going to add them together. Or another way I can do it is I can move them down. But to do that, I'm going to show you something a little bit different. So here's my two whole numbers. Okay. And now I'm going to draw my other two circles. And I know that in my first circle, there was 5. So I'm going to shade 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's going right here. But then, for this one, instead of just putting them in this circle, first I'm going to fill in this circle before I do that one. So I need 6. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that filled in another whole circle, which means I have 3 holes, and then right here there's 1, 2, 3 shaded out of 8 total. So my answer is 3 3/8. So you can see up here that 2 11/8 is the same thing as 3 3/8, because 11 is bigger than 8. So if 11 is bigger than 8, we know that 8/8 is equal to 1 whole. So if I take that 11 eighths and I subtract 8/8, which would be 1 whole, and I add it to the whole number, that would give me 3/8 left. So if you subtract that 8/8 from this improper fraction, and it's improper because the number on top is bigger than the number on bottom, then it will give you another, but you have to do something with this. So the something you do with that is you would add it to the 2, which would make it 3, and then you get the 3/8. Or here's a picture version of that same thing. Another way that you can do this is by using a number line. So you go 1, 2, 3, and then we have to divide the number line into eighths. Okay. And then we're going to start off by doing our 2 holes. There's 1 hole, 2 hole, 1 hole, 1 hole. And then we're going to do 5/8. So I'm going to do that with the pink. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then with the green, I'm going to do 6/8 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we stop right here. And we can see that we've got 3 whole and 1, 2, 3 eighths. So that is a couple of different ways of how to add mixed numbers. The only reason you would change that is because the proper way to write it would be 3 and 3/8. You'll learn more about improper fractions as you go into older grades, but this is kind of an introduction to it. Okay, let's go ahead and turn to page 446. Okay, so on 446, it shows the pictures of the boxes of markers, and each marker is 1/8 of the whole box. So you have a box here, and then you've got 5/8 of a box, but then there's a couple of spots, like a couple markers left over. You have a whole box and 6/8 of a box, so you have a couple of markers left over. And then they add the red and the blue together. You can see the hole for the red, the hole for the blue. They filled in that first circle, and then they have 3 left in that second circle. We also have our example here on a number line, but they did it a little bit different. And it says to remember, this is very important, 1 whole box is the same as 8/8. So 2 2s, 1 1, 3 3, 10 10, 100 100, 59 59. All of these numbers are equal to 1 whole. Because anytime you have a number and the same number on top of each other, it means you're filling in all the parts, okay? So if we just look at one of these, if I say 8/8, that means I have 8 pieces. Well, 8 pieces is what it takes to fill in the whole box of markers. That's why anytime you have the same number on top of it, like the numerator and the denominator are the same, then it's equal to 1 whole because you're filling in the entire piece, the entire pizza or the entire part. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to page 447. Okay, on 447, it says, what is the sum of just the whole number parts of 1 and 5/8 and 1 and 6/8? It says, what is the sum of the whole number? So it would be 1 plus 1, which equals 2. What is the sum of the fractional parts of 1 and 5/8 and 1 and 6/8? So it would be 5/8 plus 6/8, which equals 11/8. Think about how many wholes are in 11/8 and how many extra eighths there are. Complete the equations below. So you see here, they're decomposing 11/8 into 8/8 plus something else. And we know 8 plus 3 is 11. 8/8 is equal to 1 whole. So 11/8 is the same thing as 1 plus 3/8. That's a really great way to break it down. So 11/8, instead of subtracting it like I did on a couple pages back, they're actually decomposing it into 8/8 plus 3/8. Then they're deciding here that 8/8 is 1 whole. So if you decompose 11/8, you have 1 whole plus 3/8. Now add the sum of the whole numbers to the sum of the fractions. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 3/8 is 3/8. We're going to skip 5 and 6, and we're going to move on to page 448. Miss Suarez sells pies at a fair. She sells 3 5/6 of the pies the first day, and 1 3/6 pies the second day. How many pies does she sell in all? Show your work. Okay. You can use any model you would like to solve this. I'm going to use the circle model that we just used. So I've got 1, 2, 3 pies, and I'm going to fill those in. And then I've got 5/6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 1 whole pie, and this time 3/6 of a pie. So I can easily add my whole numbers together. So that makes 4 whole pies. So then we've got 4 here. But then I'm going to make 2 circles. Okay. First, I'm going to fill in the 5/6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to fill in the 3/6. I've got 1 piece left over here, and then I'll have to put the other 2 pieces over here. So that means I'm adding 1 more whole plus 2/6. So 4 plus 1 is 5 plus 2/6. Okay, next one. Show 2 different ways to add 3 2/5 plus 2 1/5. Show your work. So on this one, we're not going to draw a picture. We're just going to solve the problem. So if I have 3 2/5 plus 2 1/5, so I'm going to do 3 plus 2 plus 2/5 plus 1/5, which equals 5 3/5. Okay, and the other way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to show you a new way. So I'm going to turn these 2 fractions into improper fractions. To do that, when I have 3 2/5, I'm going to do 3 times 5, so 3 times the denominator, which is, so I do 3 times 5, which is 15. But then I'm going to add the 2 on top, plus 2, which makes 17. Then I'm going to take that 17 and I'm going to put it on top of the 5. So now it's an improper fraction. I'm going to do the same thing with 2 1/5. I'm going to take the 2 1/5 and I'm going to do 2 times 5, so 2 times 5, which is 10. Then I'm going to add the numerator, which makes 11, and then I'm going to put it on the top of the 5. So now I have 17/5 plus 11/5, which equals 28/5. And that's how you add them using an improper fraction. Okay. Last one down here before your work. Okay. Beth goes on a vacation for 4.5 days in June and 8.5 days in July. How many days is Beth on vacation in June and July? So I'm going to do 4 plus 8 plus 1/2 plus 1/2, which equals 8 plus 4 is 12. 1/2 plus 1/2 is 2/2. We know that 2/2 is the same thing as 1. So 12 plus 1 is 13 days. Okay, go ahead and go to page 449. If you feel confident that you can try solving these on your own, go ahead and try solving them on your own. If you need some more practice, you can follow along with me. Okay. Marissa uses 3 1/3 cups of oats to make oatmeal and 2 1/3 cups of oats to make snack bars. How many cups of oats does Marissa use in all? So first we're going to add the whole numbers. 3 plus 2. Now we're going to add the fractions. 1/3 plus 1/3 equals 2/3. And I forgot to put equals 5 up there. Now we're going to add the two sums. 5 plus 2/3 equals 5 2/3. So our answer is 5 2/3. Marissa uses 5 2/3 cups of oats. Okay, let's go ahead and turn to page 450. Draw and label a number line to show 1 1/4 plus 2 2/4. Okay. Let's do 1, 2, 3. And then we have to divide it into fourths. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And the reason we do threes is because when you do it if you're dividing into fourths, you put 3 lines because that makes it into fourths. So first here we've got 1 whole plus 2 wholes. So here's plus 1 plus 2 more. Now we have 1/4. And then we're going to have 2/4. So 1, 2. So we can see that our answer is 3 wholes and 1, 2, 3/4. Okay. Now let's come down here. 10 2/5 plus 5 1/5 equals 15 3/10. Okay. Well, if these numbers are 5 right here, this number cannot be a 10. So even though 10 plus 5 is 15 and 2 plus 1 is 3, if they do not have the same denominator in all of these, it cannot be true. So it is false. Okay. 5 plus 3 is 8. Okay. 3 plus 5 is 8 eighths. We know that 8 eighths is equal to 1 whole, which would make it 9, so this is true. 8 plus 1 is 9. We got fourths. 3 plus 2 is 5 fourths, so that one is false. 3 plus 2 plus 1 is 6. 2/3 plus 1/3 is 3/3. 3/3 is the same as 1 whole. 6 plus 1 is 7, so this is true. Number 4. Tim uses 4 1/2 cups of oranges, 3 1/2 cups of apples, and 5 1/2 cups of pears in a fruit salad. How many cups of fruit does Tim use altogether? So we have 4 1/2 plus 3 1/2 plus 5 1/2. So first let's add the whole numbers. 4 plus 3 plus 5. So 4 plus 3 is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12. Now let's add the halves. 1/2 plus 1/2. Well, wait a minute. Plus 1/2. We know that 1/2 plus 1/2 is 1 whole. So this would be 1 1/2. So now our answer is going to be 12 plus 1 1/2. So the answer is going to be 13 1.5 cups. Last one and we're done today. Okay, Jerry and two friends take a trip together. Jerry drives 80 and 7/10 miles. Arthur drives 60 and 5/10 miles. Charlie drives 40 and 8/10 miles. How many miles do they drive in all? Okay, so let's take the whole numbers again. I'm going to put them on top of each other this time. 80, 40, and 60. 40 and 60 is 10, plus, so it's 180. And then we have 5/10 plus 8/10 plus 7/10. Okay? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we have 20 tenths. But remember, if we can subtract 10 tenths from it, so if we subtract 10 tenths one time, that equals 10 tenths. Well, 10 tenths is also one whole. So we can add 2 wholes to 180. So it would be 180 plus 2 equals 182 miles. That is it for this lesson. I will see you back for the next one.